All right, we are just about set. We will be live. Okay, here we are, 8 p.m., and we are live with what promises to be a historic information drop. Larry, thank you so much for joining Michael and I on this episode of More Pain. As we were just discussing, you, of course, prevailed in this FOIA lawsuit. Was it back in July, Larry, that Emmett Sullivan ruled in your favor?
Approximately, Jason, and I think you may have been there during one of the hearings that we had. But yes, I mean, he ruled that all the documents, communications between Robert Mueller's office, the FBI, the Justice Department, and the media had to be produced by September 4th. And we know right before that, just a few days, as I predicted, I mean, I've seen this too many times in my 41 years of being a lawyer, the Justice Department, FBI special counsel come back through their flunky Justice Department lawyer in the federal programs branch. They send these young guys out to take the fall for them, saying there was a computer glitch and they couldn't produce all of them and weren't sure when. I then asked Judge Sullivan, who's a very fair man, he's a Clinton appointee, but he's one of the few probably in this country who is not political. I asked him if he would have an evidentiary hearing with records custodians and experts at the Office of Special Counsel, Justice Department, FBI to get into this computer glitch, if this is for real or if this is make-believe. And of course, they objected to that, and the judge is giving them more time to explain what happened. They have to explain by the 28th of September. But in the meantime, we did get some records, and they're revealing more for what they don't contain and for what they contain. So there's games being played, not surprisingly, by the Office of Special Counsel, by the FBI, and by the Justice Department, which, as everybody can confirm these days, has become a cesspool of corruption.
Absolutely. I'm a little concerned that there might be games being played with our live stream here. I'm just verifying that we are live, and I'm seeing black for some reason. Although we are outputting correctly right here, there's nothing showing up, which is quite disconcerting. I don't know why that would be.
Are you able to see my picture?
I see you guys, but we are not seeing. It doesn't look like our Patreon viewers are seeing it. Let me make sure everything is.
Yeah, my Patreon's black, I think.
I don't understand why that is. That's not what is supposed to be happening. Let's see if we can adjust that.
Well, you all advertised that we were going to have this show. Maybe there's skullduggery afoot.
I'm wondering if that's not the case. I apologize, gentlemen. I have no explanation as to why that's happening. But Larry, you were saying they are claiming there's a computer glitch. They waited until September 4th to tell you that. What else can you tell us?
Well, that's historically the case. I mean, back in the early 2000s, when I was running Judicial Watch, which I founded, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton had a, quote, computer glitch in the White House. There were 1 million suppressed emails that should have been produced to then independent counsel Ken Starr and later Robert Ray, Larry Klayman, Judicial Watch, and Congress. And it was a computer glitch. We went through an entire criminal contempt proceeding before Judge Royce Lambert. And these kinds of things, and I predicted it to my colleagues, that they would do something and run out the clock to the very last minute to try to delay. And the reason for this, in all likelihood, is because Mueller was going into these trials with Paul Manafort. Also, he's writing an impeachment report right now, undoubtedly, which he's going to release, if not before the midterm elections, then shortly thereafter. And he doesn't want it revealed that there are criminal grand jury leaks coming out of the Office of Special Counsel and the FBI. Because if that's the case, that would be all she wrote for Robert Mueller and his witch hunt, this, frankly, unauthorized investigation that goes far beyond the mandate that was given to him by the Justice Department. So to me, it's all too convenient. Does 2 and 2 equal 4? Most times it does, particularly when you're dealing with the Justice Department and FBI these days.
Absolutely, Larry. And I recall you predicting that very accurately, and it has now come true. What I'm going to do is I am going to post the link to the FOIA documents so that our viewers can download those while they are waiting for the live stream to begin. I hope there's no shenanigans going on, but it's always difficult to know. There are a lot of people who are waiting to watch us and unfortunately are not going to be able to. But let's keep doing the deep dive. Michael, you and I were on the phone last night and you were telling me some pretty amazing things that you were discovering, as Larry says, in large part from what it's missing. What can you tell us about what you've seen so far in your cursory examination of these thousands of emails?
Well, there's a lot of emails, and first thing I want to do is thank Larry for bringing us, True Pundit, in on this. You didn't have to do that, so we appreciate that, and we're happy to try to spread the word and get other folks to try to download this and tackle it and kind of WikiLeaks style to see really what's in here, because there was too much for us to to digest in 2 days. But what I looked at, some of the things that jumped out at me was the spokesman for the main spokesman. There are a couple spokesmen, but the main spokesman is Peter Carr for the special counsel's office, and whenever somebody emails him from the media, it's usually a couple of lines. We have no comment. We have no comment. But then, it's almost, you probably copy and paste it half the time. It's like, we have no comment. We have no comment. But then when you start looking into these things, into the emails, you see appointments that he's having outside the office with I call them elite mainstream media. And also he has phone appointments, half hour and hour blocks with these folks. And it kind of puts you in the spot like, wait a minute, what are these guys talking about? If this guy's job is to say no comment, which it really should be, in a organization where they're running a criminal investigation, there really shouldn't be a whole lot of chit chat. I mean, the FBI's policy is we don't comment on investigations. So why is the special counsel's office meeting with members of the media and things like that? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then you can also see patterns on how they treat certain media compared to other media. I think there's a definite slant toward the left, a huge slant toward the left. And there's a lot of other strange things. We haven't gotten through all of them. I'm sure people, when they download them, are going to say, what's going on here? Why is this guy meeting with people? And why is he having special sessions with this group and not offering special sessions to another group? And he's also, at one point, I don't want to ramble too much, but at one point he's texting on his cell phone in the middle of the night. And specifically, they're not even allowed to use the cell phone in the office. They're not allowed to take their personal cell phones in the office with them to prevent leaks. I know that from sources with the special counsel. So why is he texting at 10, 11, 12 at night with mainstream media people talking about, and he's a lot more chatty on the text than he is on the email. I guess he probably thought no one would ever get his text, but Larry has them. So those are kind of like the major points of saying, wait a second, what is this? And then there's other issues with that. Like, is this a secure phone? And then is he talking to people, and what is he talking about? And could his phone be monitored? And if he's not allowed to use it at work, why is he using it at home? So, I mean, there's a whole lot of different things going on. And then we did a cursory examination of it, and we noticed that only texts from iPhones, they only gave that to Larry. There's no text from Androids, and there's no text from non-iPhones. So you can't tell me that everybody that texts this guy is using an iPhone. There has to be Android text. I mean, most of the guys I know use Androids. So where are the Android texts? If the federal judge Sullivan, decided that Larry should get everything that he asked for. That was all correspondences from special counsel to the media. And it doesn't look like he got anywhere close to that. So what are they going to do? How are they going to make up the gap with what wasn't delivered? And, and like Larry said, are some of the things that just haven't conveniently been delivered some of the more damning things that they want to say, whoa, like Wiseman's text. Where's Wiseman's text and things like that? I probably looked at 600 or 700. I saw one text from Wiseman. I'm like, wait a minute, where are these texts from the other players in the special counsel's team? So those are kind of some of the things that just jump out at you right away. But like I said, I haven't even been through the whole thing, so I like to put that to the readers and the supporters to take a look and say, hey, what's going on with these emails?
Yeah. So I've got some of the text messages up right now, and as you mentioned, Michael, this tranche of information that we've released contains emails, text messages, some scheduling information, as well as some of the correspondence between Larry and Joe Dugan, who, Larry, what's Joe Dugan's role in all this?
He's the young Justice Department lawyer in the Federal Programs Branch. And, on the surface, he appears to be a very nice kid. He's a young lawyer. And that's what they do over in the Federal Programs Branch, which, excuse the French, are paid liars on behalf of their clients. I've been dealing with them now for decades. I mean, they just come forward, they put forward, lies by the agencies, and then they claim they don't know anything one way or the other, so they shouldn't be held accountable. And Joe Dugan is the one who is putting forth this, what I think is an obstruction of justice on behalf of the Office of Special Counsel, the FBI, and the Justice Department, that they have this so-called computer glitch. Like, I know nothing. I'm just the emissary here. That's Joe Dugan. Nice kid, but I think he's being used by the department to do its dirty work.
So he was the guy that was there on behalf of the special counsel's office at Emmett Sullivan's hearing when you and I were there when this ruling first came down, right?
That's right. He's the Justice Department lawyer in the Federal Programs Branch, which, not coincidentally, by the way, was severely sanctioned by Judge Andrew Hanen in the case that challenged the legality of Obama's $5 million illegal alien amnesty scam, which was shot down by that judge in the Fifth Circuit and then the Supreme Court. Judge Hanen found that, in fact, the Federal Programs Branch lawyers in there had lied to him, and he sanctioned them. He should have sanctioned them much more seriously than he did. He told them they had to take courses on ethics. but this group over there, really, they do the dirty work for their clients.
Now, I'm showing right now an email message. As Michael pointed out, it's an iMessage, so it's coming from an iPhone or an iPad. We've got a redaction here. He says, thanks, and it's redacted, but we'll look at the email when I get home. So obviously this is one of the reporters, Mike Levine, who is in direct communication. So it's almost like they've got this SC address, a special counsel.
It's with the New York Times.
New York Times. So this is sort of like the special counsel email address is conceivably the official channel, and then these direct personal text messages are kind of like a back channel. So it's interesting to see that these guys are so cozy. He's telling Peter that he wanted to give him a heads up that Pierre is going to be doing a story for Good Morning America about the special counsel's budget. Why is this guy from the New York Times telling someone in the special counsel's office about what's happening on Good Morning America? Is he giving him some kind of insider information or something like that?
Chummy, they've become great friends. They have an affinity, a leftist affinity, as Michael pointed out. And you'll find emails in what was produced, and there should have been at least 10,000, but we only got about 3,000 pages of documents. You have reporters writing to Peter Carr, the spokesman for Office of Special Counsel, mocking attempts to get to the truth of what's going on with the special counsel's investigation and with regard to certain targets and subjects of that investigation. There's a few emails to that effect, like, ha, 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 look at what these clowns, on the conservative right or whoever are doing we're part of this giant leftist club, and these people are just fools. That's the way they would view Michael and me and you and others, and that's the attitude.
Yeah, and that's pretty much par for the course these days, I would say, Larry. So, in terms of other cases that you've done and the nature of this information, where does this rank in terms of, I feel like we're getting a look into the operation of this special counsel's office that's sort of unprecedented.
Yeah, this is a first step. You're right, Jason. It is unprecedented. No one has done it so far except Freedom Watch. And one thing leads to the next. These give us leads of where to look. We can talk to some of these people that are out there that have been communicating with the Office of Special Counsel. There's a few even at Fox News that show up in here. In Heritage, for instance. And we can try to get from them, more information about what was going on at a particular point in time. But the key here is this guy, Peter Carr, was meeting off campus, so to speak, outside of the Office of Special Counsel, in restaurants with reporters. And that is the likely scene of the crime, in effect, where information was disclosed, leaked, grand jury information. But also, as Michael pointed out, where are the other prosecutors in the office, 17 plus? Don't tell me they didn't use email. Don't tell me that reporters weren't trying to contact them directly, either on official email accounts or their own personal email accounts. And by the way, where are the personal email accounts that may have been used for government business? So this opens up a lot of issues that we're going to have to pursue with Judge Emmett Sullivan. And it's like chopping a tree. But we want to do it quickly because my goal here is to knock Mueller out as soon as possible before he does a real number on the president with a vicious impeachment report that's going to grind this nation to a halt, coupled with what's going on with Judge Kavanaugh right now and the way that's going to be demagogued, with female electorate.
Right.
Makes it even more likely that the Democrats are going to take control of maybe even both houses